Lily could still see the old witch's hag face when she closed her eyes at night. Old woman Cornet lived on the other side of the neighborhood in a crumbling old eyesore of a house. Lily and her mom had run into the woman at the grocery store the other day. Now, as she lay in her bed trying to fall asleep, her mind could only replay the incident over and over. They're in the meat department, and her mom is looking at beef to make a stew. They see old woman Cornet slowly pushing her shopping cart towards them as Lily is poking the packages of beef with her little finger. The old woman, rumored to be a witch by all the kids in the neighborhood, wears her hair long and gray. Her face is wrinkled and the skin under her eyes droops down. Her mom wants to be polite. "Oh, hello, Mrs. Cornet. Nice to run into you here." Old woman Cornet hacks a few coughs, then looks at Lily and her mom. "Hello, Paula." She angles her head down towards Lily and glares at her with deep eyes. "Hello, Lily." As Lily and her mom leave, old woman Cornet grabs her arm with a strong, bony grip. "Little girls shouldn't poke their fingers in other people's beef." Lily tossed and turned. Every time that she thought she would fall asleep, the witch's face would flash right in front of her, and she would almost hear her screeching cry. "Little girls shouldn't poke their fingers in other people's beef." She desperately wanted to sleep well, because tomorrow was both a snow day and Halloween, her favorite holiday of all. After school, all the neighborhood kids met up at Lily's. Matt wore a vampire costume, while Melissa was Beaker from the Muppets. Richie went with zombie makeup, and Megan was the Catwoman. But Lily, always wanting something fabulous, wore the costume that her mom had been hand-making all year long. A witch, complete with green makeup, a prosthetic nose, applied warts, and a black silken witch's gown with a pointed velvet hat. They all marveled about how realistic it looked, and after a few pictures by their parents, the group of friends set out to get loads of candy. They proceeded down the neighborhood streets, enjoying the costume compliments and buckets of candy that all the neighbors gave them. The full moon blessed the snow with glittering beams of light like fairy magic. Still, as they approached the side of the neighborhood that they called the forest because of all the trees, the side where old woman Cornet's decaying house hid back from the street, the shadows seemed more aggressive. Instinctively, they stopped before entering the dead-end street where old lady Cornet lived. Megan said what they were all thinking. "We should turn back." Lily looked down the dark street. At the very dead end, the menacing form of old woman Cornet's house glared back at them. A porch light was on, and Lily could just make out a giant pot of candy. Richie noticed it as well. "Look, she has candy. It's one of those take-all-you-want deals. Well, you can bet no one's gone there all night. The candy's all ours. We should go." The others looked at him, but no one moved. Melissa whispered, "The big kid said she eats little kids like us." Richie laughed. "She's not a witch. My mom said so. She's just a weird old lady who lives alone. My mom said there's no such thing as real witches." Lily begged to differ. "Oh yes, she is. She grabbed me and hissed at me at the grocery store." They stood, staring at the distant, looming house and at the pot of candy just sitting there. The porch light hung just above the candy. Lily remembered watching a documentary with her mom about the anglerfish of the deep, dark sea, how part of its body hangs like a glowing lure just in front of its mouth to attract fish. When the fish go to the light, it eats them alive. Richie crossed his arms. "So she was mean. That doesn't mean she's a witch who eats kids. Well, she wouldn't put out candy for Halloween if she wasn't nice. Look, all we gotta do is walk there, grab some candy, and leave. Don't be scaredy cats." They looked back at the house. Lily had to admit that, although she knew that old woman Cornet was a meanie, well, maybe it didn't mean she was a witch. Plus, Lily herself was dressed up as a witch, so maybe witches weren't all that bad after all. And really, if old lady Cornet put out candy, then maybe she did want kids to visit. Maybe she was just mean because she was really lonely. She remembered what her mom had told her many times. "Remember, honey, when someone is mean to you, it's always because they are sad inside." She decided to stand up for the old woman. "Guys, maybe she really just is lonely and sad. Come on, let's go get some candy." Lily's confidence won, so they walked down the dark street. With each step, Lily felt less sure about her mom's words. The trees on each side of the street felt like giants watching them, tall monsters smiling and rubbing their hands with glee. The snow spattered on the ground in wide patches, reminding Lily of when her sister had caught chickenpox and had those blisters and scabs all over her body. Without the bright sun's rays, the house's faded blue walls just looked gray like everything else. Somewhere in the trees above, an owl hooted like a sentry, giving its last warning to turn back. When they reached the porch, they saw the giant pot of candy completely untouched. It was brimming with the fancy, full-sized candy bars that they loved, not the tiny Halloween versions, and they were all name-brand premium chocolate bars. Above the pot was a handwritten sign that simply read, "Happy Halloween, children. Take all the candy you want." They stopped, wondering who would be the first brave soul to step up onto the porch. Everyone looked at Richie. "Fine, I'll go." Megan grabbed his arm. "Wait, you have to say trick or treat. It's the tradition." Matt whispered, "No, if we say that, she'll know we're here and come out." Richie just shook his head and smirked at his friend. "So what? What's she gonna do?" He marched right up the steps and loudly said, "Trick or treat." The others winced, expecting a witch to burst screaming out of the door, but nothing happened. Richie looked back and grinned, then stuffed his Halloween bucket with handful after handful of candy. Victorious, he walked back down the steps. "Who's next?" he asked. "See? It's easy." "Oh, heck yeah, I'm going," Matt said. He stepped up confidently, called out, "Trick or treat," then loaded up his own bag with obnoxious amounts of premium candy. Melissa went next, then Megan, and it seemed like the more candy they greedily shoved into their bags and buckets, the amount in the pot never reduced. Everyone was thrilled. "All right, go, Lily, then we'll go back home. See, I told you guys there's nothing to be scared of." Lily tried to remember her mom's words about mean people, and how Richie's mom had told him that Old Lady Cornet was not a witch and there was no such thing. The others had all been fine, so she had nothing to worry about. Still, climbing the steps one by one, she felt each step make her insides more and more scared, like she was in trouble at school and walking to the principal's office to meet her fate. She looked at the pot of candy, so beautiful and tempting. She turned around and smiled at the gang. "Trick or treat!" She reached her hand into the candy pot, and the front door flew open. Old Lady Cornet rushed out and screamed, "Trick!" The other kids screamed and took off running. Old Lady Cornet wrenched Lily into the old house. Lily went limp with terror. She saw that the old woman was dressed just like a witch, just like Lily's costume, but the real thing. The hag shoved Lily onto the sofa, then bent down over her. Her breath reeked like rotten meat. "I'm free! Now there's a new witch in the neighborhood, and here you'll remain until you find a replacement. I told you, Lily, little girls shouldn't poke their fingers in other people's beef."